We are learning that the Pentagon is set to axe a $500 million training program for rebels in Syria. Top military officials have admitted the program has failed to produce the kind of combat forces capable of fighting the Assad regime or ISIS.
And it comes as Russia is launching more missile strikes and building up a troop presence on the ground in Syria. Tony Shaffer is a senior military fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, and he joins us now from Washington. Tony, this change is making official what the Pentagon has basically already been doing, right?
Right, exactly. We have to understand that several things are at play here. First, General Lloyd Austin, the commander of Central Command, testified about 2 weeks ago to the fact that as much as I think they gave it the old college try, the program's not going to work. It was frankly flawed from day one. So what we're seeing now is the inevitable result of frankly, putting the junior varsity in charge of an effort like this. And let me be very clear on this. We have, as the United States, done successful training of people like this, like these rebels we wanted to do. The people that were put in charge of this, frankly, were not qualified. The objectives were never clear. And the bigger issue that this program was never tied to the larger concept or strategy that we're trying to put in place. And it's just a cascade failure, unfortunately.
Lieutenant Colonel, now that Russia is conducting military operations, putting troops in Syria, is this giving this a new sense of urgency? Oh,
absolutely. Again, it's one of the things we recognized a year ago. I said, I think even on CBS, that if we did not act with some level of alacrity, the Russians would move in to do things in their own interest. And we've always known that the Russians had an interest. They had a Navy base in Syria. They've been very close to Assad. So our failure to actually identify those elements which were critical to stabilizing the region. Let me be very clear. The biggest issue here is the failure of space. We have to maintain governed space. The moment you have ungoverned space, things like ISIS move into it and thrive. So when we did not act to stop ISIS, and as much as it's not comfortable for us now, the Russians are doing what Russians do. They're influencing what they believe to be their strategic interests. They're going in to do something here. I think in the short term, it's good for us. I think it'll help us. With that said, there's going to be a point of departure where what the Russians are doing is not helpful to our foreign policy, and we'll have to take a very serious look at that, and probably within about 6 months.
The Pentagon says it's going to start to train enablers. So what will these enablers learn, and what role will they play?
We have done well. This is one of the formats we've actually done very well in, where we basically train those who will be trainers of others. This is very much a special operations, special forces approach, where we're not the ones training the rebels directly. We're trying to basically train people like the Kurds. One of the groups we met with yesterday was the Iranian Kurds. The Kurds are those who actually have an invested self-interest in trying to stop the ISIS folks, trying to bring stability. So it's basically partnering with them and others as enablers, trying to get them to be the ones who are in contact and training others to basically be the rebel forces against ISIS and other terrorist organizations. So this is a much better approach. I think if they pick the right people to do the training, that is the right people from CIA and the Pentagon, I think it has a reasonable expectation of success over the next year.
Well, speaking of the training, apparently only 4 or 5 rebels have actually been trained. Where did the money go?
Yeah, that's like $1 million a rebel, right?
Yes. And the uncomfortable answer is it went to people, contractors, forces trying to get in there, Turkey. It went to all the places which shouldn't have gone to. Again, we've done this before. I was corresponding with one of my close friends in the drive-in this morning, and we've done this. We've done this in Latin America. We've done it in Afghanistan. For whatever bizarre reason, the White House, and they pick people who were, I think, more politically aligned with their philosophy rather than picking people who are technically qualified to do the operation. And I think that's the issue here, is you have to pick the people who have actually been successful in doing this before, not pick people that, you know, basically made a huge political donation to you through a military corporation. So a lot of the money went to military contractors, which clearly they benefited, but we did not see any positive result militarily from it.
All right, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, thank you.
Sure, thank you.